Okay, welcome to Video Game Access Part 1. This is a three-part series, and Part 1 is going to be focusing on Xbox and PC accessibility. My name is Kayla DeVork. I'm an AT specialist here at the Pacer Center. The Pacer Center is a disability advocacy nonprofit. I work in the Simon Technology Center, and you can see it in the image here. That's a nice little brief look at our lending library. So today, this webinar is being live streamed to YouTube, and that the recording will stay on YouTube. So if you miss it live, or if you want to go back, you'll be able to check that out. I have my colleague here in the chat, Elizabeth, who will be sharing links to handouts, links at the end to the workshop evaluation, which you have to complete in order to get to the certificate of attendance. If you have any questions, or you have comments, or you have additional things you'd like to share, please feel free to post in the chat to everyone. Let us know if you're having technical difficulties, if you have questions, just comments. Feel free to let us know, where you're tuning in from, and if, what platform you primarily game on, or why you might be interested in today's topic. Really quick, and I can review this at the end as well, but you will get a certificate of attendance today if you attended live. So that's today, 1/25/2023. You'll have to submit the evaluation, and the image here on the right is a screenshot of what it looks like once you finish the evaluation. And then you can see there, you've got the blue hyperlink text. That's the link that will take you to the certificate. Just a little bit about Pacer. Pacer is a national organization focused on helping children and adults with all types of disabilities. We provide support and advocacy for parents, families, professionals. On the right, you can see images. You can see images of some of our projects. We do a lot of work with IEPs, national bullying prevention. We have stuff going on in October for National Bullying Prevention. We do transition in employment, health information, children's mental health, and then, like I said, the Simon Technology Center does everything with assistive technology. So just a little bit about the STC. We are committed to making the benefits of technology more accessible to children and adults. So this kind of shows up and looks like we do a lot of information and referral communication with parents, professionals, individuals. The image here on this slide, that is an image of our lending library. Our lending library is home to over 1,500 devices, tools, technology that can be used to reduce barriers for those who might need help kind of engaging the world, interacting in spaces. We offer free consultations. So if you're looking for any help, or specific things are coming up that you are struggling with, or your child is struggling with, you can reach out to us, and we will put together resources and tools and devices and demo those for you. We also do individualized trainings, which takes one device or tool and really kind of zeroes in on it, and allows like a deeper training on it. All right, so today we are talking about video game accessibility. You can see here on the right You've got the PowerPoint handout. That's a QR code, so you can just scan it on your phone if you'd like. There's also a direct link. And then you also have, Elizabeth should have posted the link in the chat, and you can just click on it. So today, the focus is going to be on Xbox and PC, and we're going to look at basic accessibility features. We're going to look at some software that is really helpful in terms of making video game access available for everyone. We're going to look at some accessible controllers, and then I am going to do some accessible games demo with the Xbox in conjunction with Copilot, as well as a specific video game. This is the supplemental handout slide. The supplemental handout, it was also linked. That includes pretty much everything I've talked about and some additional things. So some items will be on the handout that I may not talk about today, but they are there so that you can have a all-encompassing resource to review. Okay, so let's talk about some basic Xbox PC accessibility features. And so I paired Xbox and PC together because they both are owned by Microsoft, which means things like Narrator, which is a Microsoft feature, which you can get in Windows 10, Windows 11, that's built into Xbox. And so in much the same way that you would turn it on your computer, you can turn it on Xbox. And then when we get to the demo section, I will review the accessibility features in the menu so you can see what that looks like, how to get to it, things like that. So we've got Narrator, which operates, it will basically read what is on the screen for you. And then we have closed captions, and now this is a feature that you can turn on within the system, so the Xbox or the PC, but you can also turn it on. Specific video games will also have subtitles available. Colorblind features, and those features, they'll cover multiple colorblind difficulties, and so whichever one you or your child or your student or your client has will be available not only within the system, but then again, some video games will include it in their video game settings. Game and chat transcription. That's a pretty cool feature. And I'll basically what that does is converts in-game player speech to text that can be read on the screen, which can be really helpful. And then chat transcription will convert party chat. So if you're in a party chat, that might look like you're playing a multiplayer game and you're talking with a group that you're playing with specifically, and you're in a specific party, not just running around the game individually. That allows you to, it'll take the text it'll take the chat and turn it into text, again, allowing players to read it. Or when a player types in the party chat, it'll read it aloud for the rest of the party. The last feature, the chat transcription, is currently only available on the Xbox, both versions, the Xbox Series X and then the Xbox One. We've got Magnifier, which operates very similar to Magnifier on just like a regular Windows desktop. It'll magnify certain sections of not only the Xbox, but the PC. Voice command allows you to, and voice command is only available with the Xbox, but basically you can link like an Alexa or a Google Assistant, and give it a command like, "Hey Alexa, turn on my Xbox," and it would respond. So those are some main features. And like I said, I'm going to, when we get to the demo section, I'm going to really get into that for you and show you what that looks like. We'll do the accessibility features and then kind of the rest, so we don't have to bounce back and forth. So looking at some software stuff, we've got Copilot. I'm going to demo Copilot when we demo the game part and show you kind of how that works. Copilot allows two people to control one character. And so what that means is if you have any kind of mobility issue, or even just maybe it's difficult to get the trigger down in combat, but you really want to play this game and you really want to play it with, you know, a friend or a kid, a child, or you just want to play it with someone else. You can set it up so that one controller is controlling, maybe it's controlling like the running motion, and then the other controller can control any kind of combat features or anything that might require quick timing. And then you would play together and just be responsible for those portions of the controls. It can take really complicated mechanics for somebody potentially and make it so that they are able to play a game. We have TD eye gaze. This is specific to Tobii Dynavox devices. Tobii Dynavox is a communication device that can use head tracking or eye gaze. I'm going to show you a video so that you can kind of see what this looks like in action. But basically, it allows you to control an Xbox game, PC game, using your eyes with your dedicated device already. So you wouldn't have to purchase additional equipment and you could just play it. And so I'll show you the demo of somebody doing just that, and they're playing Diablo 3. Okay. And you can hear the sound. So as you can see here, you've got that little circle, you've got the circle with another circle inside of it, and then you see the white circle moving. That is an individual using their Tobii Dynavox device through 2D control of their computer to select with their eyes specific items and skills in their menu in Diablo. So this allows an individual to play a rather complex game that has a lot of menus with their eyes, which is really, really great. So I'll let it run here and you can see kind of how he's doing this. And then it'll magnify so that you can see exactly where you're looking and what exactly you're selecting. And that's just one of a few games that TD Control and the Tobii Dynavox devices can control. Okay. The next one I'm going to talk about that is also pretty cool is voice attack. Voice attack allows an individual to control their PC game with their voice and give voice commands in order to tell the computer and the game what to do, which allows individuals who maybe have no hand mobility to play a video game without the use of a traditional controller. And I have a video that you can look at. Here, in this demonstration, he is playing the game called Star Citizen. And he has got it all set up. Voice attack uses macros, which are basically breaking an action down further, or pairing multiple actions to get it to do something.
Flight ready.
Crusader Industries, a journey worth
He's going to
taking.
attempt to use
Systems
voice attack
on.
to
Vertical.
have his ship take off.
landing gear, vertical, cruise.
Landing gear. Thank you.
The handout also has additional software features and specific like third-party software that you can check out. The handout also includes all the information regarding pricing, things like that. Okay. Accessible controllers. So one way to be able to play a game is to use accessible controllers. And we can do that in a variety of ways. I will be demonstrating Copilot with a regular Xbox controller and the Xbox adapted controller. The Xbox adapted controller is a really great controller. I will show you, change my video so you can see it. So up in the corner, my video has now changed so you can see the Xbox adaptive controller here. And just out of the box, you start with just this piece right here. And you have your two buttons here, A and B, and then you've got the D-pad plus the other Xbox device, the Xbox control buttons. But then what you can do is you can attach up to 19 switches. So here I've got the Logitech adapted gaming kit, which came with its own switches and triggers. And it came with the stickers, so you can make sure that you're putting on the correct, you know what buttons you're pressing. Labeling it is helpful. And then you can also attach two USB like toggle to represent the toggle buttons, and those can be either joystick or another USB controlled thumbstick. And then basically you can use this to play your games. And then you have your buttons here. Really allows for a more versatile controller setup. You can pair up to 3 profiles on the Xbox adapted controller. So say someone likes to play different kinds of games. So maybe we have Fortnite, but maybe they also really like to play racing games. So with that, you've got, those are different controls, right? One's a shooter and one's a racing game. And so you would be able to pair different profiles to different controller schematics, different controller settings. And then within the settings for the controller, you would be able to set what each button does, which is really helpful. So like I said, I will show that in action with the Copilot when we do Copilot with the Copilot demo. And then we've got joysticks. This particular joystick is the Logitech Elite, and it allows you to, you've got your joystick section, which can make it easier to control. And then you can also pair on the side buttons, you can pair settings as well. Yes, thank you. Okay. We've got, the next one we have is the quad stick. The quad stick's really, really cool because it's much like a sip and puff. So you can use your mouth to control the game. And I'm going to show a demo of that now. The quad stick, it comes in 3 different styles, and then is basically printed as, like, each week they come available. And the mouthpiece is 3D printed. So here, this is Modern Warfare, and the individual is totally playing with a quad stick. You can see how he's controlling it with his mouth, and it's making the character move and shoot.
UAV online.
Yes, so someone in chat said, yeah, so there are some very, very good quad stick gamers, and they are very, very good at Call of Duty. And it's really cool to see because we can, sometimes it can feel like when we don't get to play the games that everybody else play, it can feel really isolating. And here is a tool and a device that allows them to practice and get really good and do a variety of things against them. So it allows him to be able to play with friends, get really good. You can also have multiple quad sticks set up and programmed, which is really cool. So that is the quad stick. And the last accessible controller I was highlighting is the one-handed controller. It's a 3D print, and so the cool thing is some of these things, being able to 3D print those items allows you to have easier access to items instead of having to go out and buy a really expensive a piece for a controller. You could print it. Here in this image, you can see he's printed the one-handed controller, put it on his Xbox controller, and now he's able to play and use that controller with just one hand, making it much easier. And then I've got a couple other controller options I can show you as well that are on the handout. So the next one I'm going to show you is Cosmo Connect. This Cosmo Connect pairs with Control Bionics, their access devices, so their communication device. But you wear the little wrist watch here he's got in this photo, and then he's going to control the game kind of with his movements.
Angle. Aim left. Aim right. Stop.
I'm going for the next red one. Yeah, got time. Cool.
Can you hear it?
Cool.
Fire. Aim left. Aim
Good
right.
one.
Stop.
Okay.
It's gonna bounce back.
Some of the videos are
Oh,
louder
well.
than others. But here it's giving him feedback on what's happening on the screen.
Goes so quick.
And then
That's what I'm
you
saying.
can see he's moving his
Come on,
head
come back.
to control and his wrist. You can see there he's
Aim right.
doing that, and it's controlling
Time out now.
the little
Okay.
Aim left. Aim right.
pad down there at the bottom that's moving across the screen.
Okay.
Yep.
Power Star Golf. Pinball.
It's the
Pretty
first
cool.
one, yeah?
Angle.
Yep.
2 switch toy. iPhone.
Okay.
Select item. Select item.
And these links are also included in the handouts. Okay. So that brings us to our games demos and our demo part of this. And so I'm going to show Forza Horizon 5 first because it's a video. And so what the thing I'm going to show about Forza is the developers basically built in access for sign language. And so there are actual interpreters that come up on the screen during cutscenes that will sign. You can do American Sign Language and British Sign Language, and that will pop up along with captions. So I'll show that, and then we'll get into the general Xbox demo. Before we transition, are there any questions about what we just saw? Previous things? No? Okay. All right. Here is Horizon's ALS interpretation clip.
In the buggy. I'll tell you the story on the way.
And so she pops up in every the interpreter will pop up in every cutscene. That is part of the main.
Let me just get the door. Is that key? It's really here. We found it for you, Papa Fernando.
But look at it. I've never seen a beetle like that.
Oh, the weather's closing in. I don't like the look of the roads around here. You drive the truck. Got it.
Which is this is really great because
I'll have to
sometimes
put in
it
a
can
new
be hard
batería,
to,
plenty of oil, llantas,
captions
electric.
and subtitles can be hard to follow. And
When
so
it comes
this
to
is
safety,
it's a nice
who
alternative.
has more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus
All right.
awards? Subaru.
So that is that. Let's get into the Xbox demo. We will wake it up. I'm going to have my video be controllers, so you should be able to see. There it is. Let me know if the volume is too. All right, so let's look at the accessibility features first. So here, this is the main Xbox screen. We're gonna basically we're going to press this Xbox home button here, and that's gonna open up that sidebar. And then from there, we're going to go to settings. And then once we're in settings, you can do all kinds of things, but what we're going to look at is accessibility. So here's everything that you can do within the system. So within the Xbox itself, this is what you can control, what you can change, what you can update. So I'm going to just turn narrator on so you can hear it, see what it does. And then I'm going to shut it off because it might be hard to talk over. Some things you can do with narrator. You can also have it learn your inputs, which is pretty cool. But first we have to turn it on. So here you can see
narrator on checkbox, narrator options,
it's going to highlight
button,
the boxes.
1 of 5. Change the voice narrator uses.
And it
Adjust
should be
voice
telling
volume,
us what's on the
speed,
screen.
and pitch.
Right.
Choose what content narrator
Yeah, it's really-
reads,
I bet- I
and
figured
what
it's pretty
narrator
loud.
key to
Let me
use.
see if I can turn myself up. I'll turn him down as well. Okay. Let's see how that is.
Input
Like I
learning mode
said,
on checkbox unchecked,
Input mode.
2 of 5.
It's still really loud.
Learn the buttons on your
That's the problem
controller
with
or
narrator.
keyboard,
So you get the idea.
including shortcuts for using narrator. Exiting narrator.
It's going to read everything on the screen. It'll read everything like within the Xbox like settings and on the main menu. He's just really loud. We've got magnifier, and we can turn this on, and as you can see, it is zooming, it's zooming in. We can also turn on the on-screen keyboard from here. We can set controller shortcuts and keyboard shortcuts for it. But then now in all of the other menus, as you can see, the menu in the space is more zoomed in. See, so as we move, it stays zoomed in on, like as we're moving, it follows, it tracks with us. Back to settings. Shut that off for now. And then here's captioning. We can turn it on. We can also customize it, which is kind of nice. So when we turn custom on, here you can see you can change backgrounds, you can change the opacity, the transparency level, you can change the size, and then it gives you down at the bottom, you can see it's got a really nice preview. So you can see what it looks like, and then you have the ability to know, okay, is this going to be something that is readable for me? Which is really helpful. We've got high contrast, and so that changes the theme of your, that'll change the theme of your Xbox. We've got night mode. Here's game and text transcripts. So we can turn on our options, we can toggle options, we can decide, here we've
Aria,
got, you know, we can
Jenny.
change
Guy.
the person's voice. We've got speech to text and text to speech. So you can have them both on. You don't have to, or you can have just one, which is helpful. So one thing to note is that game transcription is only available in games that support it. And so just double checking to make sure what games support it. You've got your audio settings. Color filters is where you get your color correction for color blindness. And here you've got options, grayscale, things like that. So those are like the basic accessibility features that are in the that are built into the Xbox as it's like out of the box. Do we have any questions about the accessibility features in the Xbox? Anything that you were like, oh, you didn't show that enough, or I'd like to see what that looks like in action?
We'll get them a second, but Dylan said that it's fabulous that these giant companies are making it part of.
Yeah, it's really great. I think having stuff like ASL interpreters and some of these accessibility features being just in the game now is really great. Okay. Go back out. All right, I'm going to show you how to pair to do Copilot, and then we will, from there, I will show you how you can play a game with Copilot mode enabled. So Copilot can be found in controller settings. So it should already be turned on, but I'm gonna turn it off and then I'll turn it back on so you can see how to set it up. So when you're in your accessibility, you're gonna go into controller setting, and then you're gonna go to Copilot settings, and then make sure we've got this guy turned on. We're gonna turn on Copilot. Okay. This is also the place where if your controller needs to be updated, because they are devices that do have firmware updates, it's where you would find it. We're gonna ignore that for now. So here you can see that I can, if I want, control the menus with both controllers. All right, so let's my games. This will load better. So as you can see, I selected A with Xbox adaptive controller. Yes, I can. 1 second, sorry. Here, I can mute it. Is that better? Yeah, is that better?
Yeah.
So there won't be any volume. Just 'cause I haven't quite, we're going backwards. Up. Just. I'm going to turn the volume down so that you can at least see it. Here it is, settings. Forza has quite a bit of accessibility settings. You can get to it via their settings. So they have their own thing. As you can see, I have the sign language turned on. We're going to do this. Okay, how is that? Is that better? Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so you're going in reverse, but here you can see that I can control. Here I am doing the right trigger, which is accelerate. And then with this controller, I'm going to move us. And so here you can see with this controller that I can do both. So we've got the button and then I've got directions. I'm really bad at racing games, so I will not stay on the road. That just never happens for me. But as you can see here, if you wanted to play with a friend, but maybe they just, maybe they're also bad at racing games, one of you can control acceleration, the other one can control direction. And then you're basically playing the game together with one controller, which allows you to play single player games together, which is a nice little workaround. You can drift, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's pretty great. I think it opens up a lot of doors for a lot of people to play games that maybe they never would have played before. Because some people just, combat mechanics are really difficult. Driving mechanics can be really difficult. So that's how Copilot works. Copilot also works for, first-person shooters. So games like Fortnite, that one can be really, really cool to do. I don't have Fortnite on this Xbox yet, but you would be able to have one person could run one and do the running and jumping or the building, because not everyone is really great at building in Fortnite. But yeah, and then somebody could do the other combat stuff. So it really opens up doors there. It also could be a really great way to introduce video games to a younger child, as they learn mechanics and fine motor skills and gross motor skills, and then it'd be a really great way to build in positive boundaries around playing games. So that's Copilot. Does anyone have questions about Copilot? Yeah, I see that. So in chat, we've got. Yeah, I saw that. Okay. It looks like someone also shared that Fortnite on PC has a ton of subtle accessibility things like look speed and mappable controls. Yeah, I think a lot of games like Fortnite and some of the other ones have some really great built-in stuff that you can just tweak. Like Forza's that the accessibility, you can tweak, you can fine tune those settings down to just really great in really great ways. So there's lots of in-betweens. Okay, the last demo I wanted to show was The Veil. The Veil is a pretty great game. Its full title is The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. She will probably be loud, so you might not be able to hear me. There is a screen narrator built into this game. This game is completely blind accessible because it was developed with blind video gamers with their help,
Falling
but also with
Squirrel
them
and
in mind.
Creative Bites Studios presents The Veil. Press menu button to begin.
So here's the main menu. She should talk when I press this button.
Main menu.
Let me know if
Push
she
down
can
on the left
hear.
stick to cycle through the main menu options.
So screen reader, screen narration exists throughout the whole game. You play as a blind princess who's navigating this world, and it uses, if you do play this game, listening with headphones is really important because they use specific ways of the binaural like audio to help you know where the sounds are actually coming from. And so I'm going to start the game. I'm going to continue the game.
Press the right
where I'm
trigger
at.
to
I played
select
a
an
little bit of
option.
this.
Use the left stick to cycle through
It is
options.
playing it is it's much better with headphones because you can then hear better. But then all of the menus, she talks. The screen narrator that you just heard here, she will talk, and I'll show you some of the menus there as well, so you can see that. There's some really great visual cues as you're playing. So as you can see here, this is what you see.
I'm not supposed to be outside of the
during the
key.
game. There is no real images.
What if we
It
get
is
caught?
just
Father's
these
not
little
even in the
speckles
city.
of like dust.
What about Uncle?
And
He has you
depending on
swinging
what
his
kind of
sword.
setting you're in,
Why
the
not shooting a
color's
bow?
going to
I
change.
suppose.
So daytime is yellow,
What am I
nighttime
shooting?
is night.
There are pigs that come
Rain
around here
is
looking for
like
scraps in the
rainfall.
evening.
It's pretty
I don't
cool.
want to kill anything.
The arrows are blunted.
It also
I
has
doubt they would go
haptic
through
controls, which
parchment.
means the controller will
one
vibrate
now.
based on
Just at the tree line.
interactions
Do you
and
hear it?
based on the things
Yes.
that you're doing.
Let's move in slowly to set up the
So
shop.
Use the left stick to move in on your game options menu.
I'm gonna go
Target.
to our
Push only
theme.
part way on the stick to move quietly.
Here she is. Here she's telling me what to do, but I can't hear her because I turned my volume off, so we wouldn't have backgrounds.
We should move closer. There, perfect. He's frozen. He knows we're here. Any closer and he'll run off.
Center your target by pushing side to side on the right stick.
So we're hunting.
Pull the right trigger to draw your bow and release to fire.
And then you can hear the sound.
Try again.
So you
Aim a bit
heard
to the
me
right.
pull and release. Yeah, I figured.
Aim a bit to the right. Aim a bit to the right. Try again. Aim a bit to the right.
So you get the idea. It'll talk. It's going to talk to you and kind of tell you. You've got a companion that's helping you with the bow and arrow. There's a map that it'll also read to you. There's equipment menu that the screen reader will read. It's a really great example of kind of building accessibility throughout. And then they also kind of intentionally made it so the game was also kind of engaging in a lived experience. So that is the Veil. They've won a couple awards.
Game
Pretty cool.
options.
Pretty cool.
Game controls. Quit game. Resume game. Quit main menu.
Yeah.
Push down
And
on the left
on your
stick to
handout, I've
cycle through the
included a
main
couple
menu
databases as
options.
well that can be really helpful for accessible gaming. So we've got the Accessible Games database, which is a database that you can filter it based on features. We've also got Can I Play That? Can I Play That? They give game reviews that focus on the accessibility of a game. One thing that's pretty cool with Xbox is that when you're looking for games in the store, you can filter based on, you should be able to filter based on so like once you're like do a search, you can press the X button to filter, and then right at the top is accessibility. And so you can filter based on what kind of accessibility you want. So we could do, let's go with adjustable difficulty. And then you go back, and based on that filter, it'll give you results, which is really cool. And it can make it easier than just trying to like not knowing for certain if a game has specific accessibility features or not. So that's a really great resource. You can filter like that on the Xbox store, online or within the Xbox. I've also included additional resources on the handout as well. But that is my demo. So is there anything else before I switch back to the PowerPoint? Was there anything anyone would like to see on the Xbox that I didn't show, or something they have questions about? Okay. If you raised your hand, could you type it in chat?
Is there ways to Toby Dynavox IDs with Xbox adaptive?
Yes, great question. So it should be out now, and I haven't been given the exact name of it, but there is a way to play Xbox with your Toby Dynavox device. And basically you kind of run it. So you connect your Toby Dynavox to your computer, and then you connect that to the Xbox adapted computer. Yeah, the question was, is there a way to control the Xbox with the Toby Dynavox device? And the answer is yes. It requires you having the Toby Dynavox stuff to control the computer, and then from there you connect it to an Xbox adapted controller that would then be paired with the Xbox. That's correct. I think that is correct. Yes. Yep. Yeah. And so Carrie, we have a game on device. And I have not yet tried it because I'm still waiting to get a Toby Dynavox device that would be specific to our adapted gaming room. But once I do, I plan on testing that out and making that happen and figuring it out. But yes, that is definitely one way to do it. Yeah, what kind, yes, so the question was, other than the games that I've shown, what would be some other games, simpler games that would be good for physical access? My question would be, what degree is the physical mobility limited? As in, like, are they still able to play with a traditional controller or not? Or are we, and even that, right? We can just do games where it's like a platform game and it's just 1 or 2 buttons. Something really cool that we do is adapted gaming consults, where we're building out an adapted gaming room. And we offer adapted gaming consults that focuses on finding games and devices that would help individuals access video games.
Also, a question about it just being recorded.
Yes. Great. Okay. Great. Okay, so there's a few questions here. So let me, yes, I'm gonna, really quick, I'm going to just move back to the PowerPoint so that we can see here. We'll just leave it on that slide for a second. This is being recorded. So one of the questions asked if this was being recorded. This is being recorded. You're going to be able to pretty much almost immediately. So within like the first 3 to 5 minutes, you'll be able to find it on our YouTube page. And then you'll be able to see it. And it'll have all the links to all of the content that we talked about today. And then regarding your daughter and looking at games that could be helpful for her, if you send an email to the stc@pacer.org and you let them know, you just say like you're looking for video game access, that will get forwarded to me and I will reach out and we can connect over that directly and talk about that. And if you're local, you could probably even come in and check out the adapted gaming room. Yeah, so setup help, we can show, so after a consult, we could look at doing individualized trainings, and that could look like, me helping you remap a controller, helping you set up, if it's a 3D printed thing, helping print that, but then printing that for you and then helping you put it onto the controller. We don't do home visits, so but you are welcome to come here. We are open to the public now. Now that COVID, those restrictions aren't there anymore. So we are open to come here. And so if you're local, we could do, like, you could bring the stuff in and we could set it up and then you take it home and I could give really direct instructions on how to reconnect everything, show you how to do it, things like that. I also see a question about whether or not consults are free. Every service that Pacer offers is free, except as we do charge for in-services and some of the library. So those are like the only library memberships are organization memberships and out-of-state memberships, correct? That have a membership fee. But if you're local to Minnesota, individual, family memberships are free. And Elizabeth is sharing links to consults with the applications and things like that. Before you leave today, if you could complete the workshop evaluation, let me know how I did. If there's additional things you'd like to hear, that'd be really helpful. Plus, you'll get your certificate of attendance. The last slide here is our upcoming workshops. So as I mentioned in the beginning, this is part 1 of the video game access. February, I will be doing part 2, which is going to focus on the PlayStations. PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. And then part 3 will be Switch, virtual reality, possibly some mobile stuff. Virtual reality accessibility is still kind of trying to catch up. And then in March, we have an accessible smart homes review of environmental assistive technology. We also have an AAC workshop coming up on February 28th, which is focused on communication across the lifespan, correct? Evaluations.
Teams working together.
Yeah, and teams working together across the lifespan of a AAC user. Yeah. Any other questions? No more questions? All right. Well, thank you all for attending. I really love talking about this stuff. So thank you all for your interest, and we look forward to seeing you at more workshops. All right.